I'm seeing in the chat that one of the questions that was asked to me by Temur Makamov is about how Uzbekistan could develop its capital markets and attract investment like other countries have. And there is a very basic point that I would say about this, which is that for any country, part of the challenge is institutional challenge to make the stock market or the foreign direct investment regime work institutionally. But the second part is a geographic challenge, because Temur asked, well, how do you compare, say, what Uzbekistan's doing with Poland or with the UAE and so on? And my experience is that every country is so much influenced by its geography. Poland, when it made its economic recovery, based it on its being a neighbor of Germany. So it was German investment that came across the border, and Poland became a major supplier to the German automotive and manufacturing sector, for example, and that created a lot of jobs. The UAE, the United Arab Emirates, has taken a different geographic role as being a hub, something like Singapore, for international trade and commerce. Now, the question is then for Uzbekistan, what is the role of Uzbekistan? Well, Uzbekistan was at the center of many kingdoms when the Silk Roads were the dominant trade route. Then Uzbekistan, Bukhara, Samarkand were the very center of the world, you could say, because everything went through them from Asia to Europe, Europe to Asia, and it was a centerpiece of a global society and global trade. I think that in the 21st century, the challenge is to make sure that Central Asia is playing that kind of role at the center of the world's most populous land map. So Uzbekistan can be a center for tourism, for trade, for finance, for commerce, but only if there's global cooperation, not in a splintered world, but if there's active Eurasian-wide integrated economy. And so the best friend of Uzbekistan's development is a cooperative environment that then builds infrastructure, fast rail, fiber, good 5G connectivity, all renewable energy grid, because Uzbekistan, while it now produces fossil fuels, gas especially, it should be a powerhouse in wind and solar power also. And it should be exporting that to other parts of Eurasia, which would exist if there were a large-scale grid like the Chinese want to build, actually, an interconnected energy system. So I think the idea of Uzbekistan as a kind of central hub for lots of Eurasian economic activity makes sense to me. And that would develop interest in many different sectors. Of course, to have this happen, Uzbekistan needs also to develop its digital capacities, know-how, because digital will be at the core of everything, of transport, of banking, finance, telecommunications of every kind, payment systems. And so I think that that will also be extremely important. So I would think geographically, especially Uzbekistan has a unique geography, so it's especially important to think geographically in the economic development strategy.